Welcome back to my channel. I'm just a jealous guy. Video today is going to be about Brian Smith, and as we all have heard numerous times, that the reason his pig raising, his pig business failed was because of ASF and COVID. And basically that's what he blamed, or that's the reason he gave for not being able to pay Rick back. So I'm just going to explore that a little bit, and I think I'll comprehensively show that that wasn't true, and basically he's full of crap. So first of all, just to remind people, I'm just going to read from a video of his. Sad ending for MB Piggery. He's talking about selling his pigs, and it's going to be the end of the piggery. 7 minutes in, I'm going to make myself scarce because I don't want to be here when they go. So I'll probably go into town, and at some point when I get back, the pigs will be gone. It is what it is. African swine fever and COVID were just it. It was just bad timing, and it is what it is. We cannot afford to stay in the pig business. So he's blaming COVID. He's done it numerous times, right from since the pig started failing. He's blamed COVID and ASF. This one's from transcript of Rick, Let's Be Clear. It was made on the 30th of March 2021, and the one I just read was February 2021. It's talking about the agreement he had with Rick. He'd given him 6 months time frame, which came and went, and we hadn't completely paid for the pigs. Now this was at the height of ASF, African swine flu or African swine fever. And China was euthanizing pigs by the millions. And this meat was supposed to be disposed of, but based on the price, based on where the price of pork went, I have no choice but to conclude. So this is his assumption. This is he's concluded this, that it was dumped on the market in some form or another, because the price of pigs pretty much was not quite cut in half. Now during the 8 month period time, but pretty close, and it was that time we had 50 sows. So he's blaming COVID. The price of pigs dropped by about 50%. And that's why he couldn't sell any pigs. That's why he couldn't afford to keep the pigs. And that's why he couldn't pay Rick back. Well, I'm going to go into the Rick thing a bit more later. But the agreement he signed with Rick was for 6 months to pay the money back. And the agreement, the end of the 6 months was, I think it was February 2020, start of February 2020. So you go back 6 months and you're looking at, August, about August the year before, 2019. So from August 2019 through to about the very start of February, I believe, from memory. So First of all, he blames COVID for not paying Rick back and for his piggery failing. Well, COVID didn't actually start till 2020, and it started in March 2020. So for the first 6 months and about another month or so, or at least a month beyond, COVID had no effect on the pigs at all because it wasn't even around then. So he's blamed COVID for not being able to pay Rick. He's blamed COVID for his failure of his pigs. But especially with paying Rick back, it had absolutely no bearing on it at all. So African swine fever, like ASF, got a couple of reports here. One is from The Guardian. It's African swine fever destroying small pig farms as factory farming booms. Report. This was a 2023 report about how ASF in China affected their farmers. I'll just read from the report here. After the first notification of ASF outbreak in China in August 2018, the illness spread rapidly throughout the industry and led to the slaughter of millions of pigs within months. So, outbreak, August 2018, and the slaughter of millions of pigs within months. So, 2018, not 2019. So August, and you say within months. Did it go into 2019? Possibly, but probably only slightly. Just a year later, however, the startling rise in pork prices meant that despite their losses, many of the big industrial pig producers were achieving record profits. So 2019, a year later after the outbreak, so that's August 2018, so around about August 2019, prices were at record highs. When did Brian Smith enter his agreement with Rick? Round about that time, August 2019. So we're talking about world prices of pork there. So did it affect the Philippines? We'll have a look. But before that, I'll just look at another reports from Nature Food. African swine fever outbreaks in China led to gross domestic product and economic losses. Now, all I'm going to, it's quite a long report, but all I'll take here is assessing the economic losses caused by ASF outbreaks in China between August 2018 and July 2019. So, ASF outbreaks in China between August 2018 and July 2019. So, that was even before he entered into the agreement with Rick. And again, it mentions August 2018 to July 19. So that was just to confirm the dates. Again, so August 2018 was when the outbreak occurred and millions of pigs were slaughtered. So when Brian Smith says that millions of pigs were dumped on the market, and that affected the price of pigs, they dropped by about 50%, and that's why he couldn't pay Rick back. Well, that's just a load of crap, because it's all supply and demand. You know, low supply, higher prices, more supply, lower prices. If the pigs were dumped on the market, it would have been in 2018, which wouldn't have affected Brian Smith, especially as far as paying Rick back, at all. In fact, 2019, it says record prices, record high prices of pork. So that contradicts straight away what Brian Smith was saying. That now let's see how it affected the price of pork in Philippines. So we'll look at the Philippines swine situation report, January to December 2019, and we'll look at the prices. So 2019, there was a drop in the prices, overall drop in 2019, remembering swine flu was in the start of 2019. This is balanced out over the year of 8%, 8.5%. So the drop was over the whole year, and because ASF affected 2018, the start of 2019, that's probably when the lower prices might have been. But anyway, 8.5%, not 50%. So that's nowhere near 50%. Now, the retail price dropped 0.8%. So the actual retail price dropped less than 1%. So that's in 2019, when Brian Smith signed the agreement with Rick, and 5 months of the 6 months of that agreement were in 2019. So record high world prices for pork, and the prices of pork in the Philippines slightly lower but pretty much stable. In fact, the two charts here I've got show the graph from 2017 to 2019. Now, the first one is the farm gate price, and the second one, retail price. The three lines for the 3 years are pretty much unchanged, so there's not a lot of difference in the prices. So when Brian Smith says his prices, what he could get for the pigs, dropped by 50%, and that's why no one was buying the pigs, I think that's bullshit. People weren't wanting to buy the pigs because they probably didn't want to buy them from him. Just to show that chart in a different way, the average farm gate price of hogs in Philippines, this is January, March, this is 2017 to 2019. The block on the graph is the prices, and over the 3 years they really don't change very much at all. In fact, 2017 the prices were lower than 2019. So when he started off the piggery, when he was growing his piggery, the farm gate price in the Philippines was actually lower than when he said ASF and COVID affected his pigs. Like I said, with COVID didn't start till March 2020. I know, because I was in the Philippines and had to get out before, had to get back to Manila before Manila locked down, and they weren't letting anyone in or out of Manila. So Brian Smith uses the argument ASF and COVID was the reason his piggery failed and why he couldn't pay Rick back. I say that's bullshit. And the those piggery closed in 2021 by his report. Of the swine situation report here for 2020, when he said he couldn't sell any pigs because the price of pork was low. 2020, the farm gate price of pork is the heavy line on this graph that shows a sharp increase. So in 2020, if you look at the graph, the dark line with the circles is the 2020 farm gate price, and the retail price increased 3% farm gate and 4.5%, 4.3% in the retail. So if you look at this, where it goes up high at the end there, that's 2020, September, October, November, December. So, and this one the same. That's the retail price. So when he said his farm was failing because of ASF, falling prices and COVID, falling prices, the price was actually going up. So he was closing it down in February 21 because he couldn't sell pigs. He couldn't get the, he was losing on the pigs, but the price of pigs actually increased at the time, and he reckons he was losing money on them. So I'm going to close it off there. I don't think ASF nor COVID, one, had any bearing on why he couldn't pay Rick back in the 6 months, nor for the failing of his piggery. And what he needs to do is have a good hard look at his management skills. Actually, he reckons he couldn't sell the pigs, but he kept breeding them, and he kept breeding them and breeding them. He didn't stop. So why would someone keep breeding pigs when you can't sell the ones you already got? So maybe it was poor management skills and lack of knowledge that actually made his piggery fail, not ASF and COVID, which it appeared to not have any real bearing on the price of pigs in the price of pork in the Philippines. In fact, if it came down to supply and demand, and the pigs were dumped in on the market, like he concluded, because of the dramatic drop in price, would have happened in 2018, early 2019. That's when the ASF actually hit, and that's when they were slaughtering the pigs. So thanks for listening. Hope you got to this point. I tried to keep it as short as I could, but don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, thumbs up, share if you like. Thank you.